Now hiring, job openings surging to a record high. More than 8 million positions available, according to the latest numbers from the Labor Department. This as businesses are struggling to find new workers. Joining me now to discuss is Dan Mitchell, Center for Freedom and Prosperity. He's the chairman there. Dan, good to see you. But when you hear that you've got more than 8 million job openings and then more than 16 million people collecting unemployment benefits, when Joe Biden and people in the White House say that the enhanced unemployment benefits don't have anything to do with that worker shortage, that's just manifestly untrue. And we need to start calling them out for these lies.
It is remarkable, Dagan. If the federal government and state governments as well are paying you $300, $400 more for sitting on your brains and watching TV all day instead of going to work, of course, many people are unfortunately going to make that choice. And this is really frustrating. I mean, Joe Biden inherited a great situation. We had a vaccine being rolled out. We had all this pent-up consumer energy to make the economy go gangbusters. And instead, we have the federal government, thanks to Biden's policies, in effect paying people not to work. And I'm afraid this is going to be not only bad news for our economy, but it's going to hurt those workers who are being bribed into sitting on the sidelines, losing work skills, and making themselves less attractive to future employers.
The average unemployment recipient earns better than the equivalent of working full-time at $15 an hour. There's another stat that said that Fox Business came up with any worker earning less than $32,000 a year would get a raise by going on unemployment. But I want you to listen to what Joe Biden had to say about wages. Take a listen.
We also need to recognize that people will come back to work if they're paid a decent wage. My expectation is that as our economy comes back, these companies will provide fair wages and safe work environments. And if they do, they'll find plenty of workers.
Dan, they're trying to rig the free market by forcing businesses to pay more. They're essentially saying to these businesses that can't find workers, you're just not paying enough. This at the time when I think wages last month in the jobs report were up almost in real average wages, up 4% in March from the previous year. So what are they up to? Again, there seems to be a method to this madness.
I guess maybe you could consider it a backdoor minimum wage increase or something like that. Look, it would be great if all of us could get wages that are twice as high as we're getting now. It would also be great if we had magic unicorns distributing free money around the world. In reality, businesses create jobs when they think a new employee is going to be a net positive for their cash flow. In other words, will generate more business than they cost. But what's happening, the Biden administration, in effect, is setting almost a wage floor, making it very unattractive for these unemployed people to re-enter the job market. That means a smaller GDP for America. It's hurting our competitiveness. If you want higher wages, go back to, say, 2019 before the pandemic. We had record growth in median household income. We had record low poverty. We had record low unemployment. The free market is the way to give people better jobs and better wages, not a federal government bribing people to be unemployed.
Well, what sets my head on fire is the fact that of all the businesses that have struggled in the last year during the lockdowns, during the shutdowns, during the pandemic, it's small businesses. And they have said point blank, we've tried to hire people and people told us flat out, I'm not taking a job until these extra unemployment benefits run out in the fall. And how many times are these small operations that the politicians always say, well, small businesses are the fabric of America. But yet again, they're getting screwed over. And the people in Washington and the White House, they just don't care.
I don't know if they don't care or they just don't understand basic economics, because I do hear my left-wing friends say, well, if these businesses would simply increase their wage rates by another $5 or $10 an hour, they don't seem to understand that if you're a marginal small business competing against the online giants, competing against the big box stores, you don't have good margins to work with. You are oftentimes struggling to keep your doors open. And if all of a sudden your labor costs have to go up by 30 or 40%, guess what? You go out of business. That's the real world. Unfortunately, Joe Biden has been a politician for nearly 50 years. He has no idea how the private sector works. These people in Washington, again, they think there should be money trees and magic unicorns making the economy work. And we see all over the world that's not how it operates.
Complete disconnect. I think that it's intentional. But Dan, great to see you. Thank you so much. Be well.